The Derby County situation is getting worse, and at this current rate, Derby County will be liquidated and will no longer exist as Derby County Football Club. This is very serious. This is very likely, and it's so confusing because it changes each week that I've got to do a follow-up on what happened a few weeks back. So let's get stuck into it. Tell me down below what is your current standpoint on this. I'll leave my personal opinion to the very end of the video. I wanted to state exactly what is happening and try and make it as simple as it possibly can be done, because honestly, it's so complicated sometimes that you just get caught up in a rabbit hole and you lose the actual sight of what is going on here. So I hope you guys do enjoy. If you find this video helpful, smash the like button, also subscribe if you're new, because this took a while to get all the information together. But of course, first, shout out to the channel sponsor, U7Buy. The cheapest and most reliable coins on the market. Go down to u7buy.com, link is down below in description, and make sure to use code Vizeh at checkout for 5% off. So let us begin. So let's start off with the most simplest way to start this, and that is, will Derby County be liquidated? And as it currently stands, the longer this goes on, the more likely it is. What goes on, you may ask? As it currently stands, Middlesbrough and Wycombe Wanderers have set claims, legal claims, to the EFL on the topic of Derby County. The reason why it is claims and not officially lawsuits is because Derby County is in administration and they cannot be perceived as lawsuits. Because Middlesbrough and Wycombe have put legal claims towards the EFL, they've essentially passed on these claims to Derby County, claiming that these are footballing debts and that Derby County owes them a select amount of money as compensation. In the case of Middlesbrough, this is believed to be £45 million they are owed in terms of compensation as a footballing debt. What Middlesbrough and Wycombe has put forward is that Derby has spent years, at least 3 years, of what they call systematic cheating on purpose to gain a competitive advantage. In the most simplest ways, Derby broke P&S rules, which is profit and sustainability rules. Now, of course, there's a lot that goes into it, such as the fact that Derby, how they buy players is different to other teams. So let's say they bought a player for 10 million, that 10 million would be 2 million each year for 5 years. There was previous appeals. The first one, the EFL signed it off as legit. Derby County, over the course of 3 years, lost £39 million and held to a review back in 2020 that they confirmed that Derby was charged with breaching financial fair play. And then throughout all this, Mel Morris, the Derby County chairman at the time, he bought Pride Park for £80 million as well. So let's go back to Middlesbrough. Back in 1819, of course, Derby County finished 6th in the championship, and Middlesbrough were 1 point below. Derby County, of course, lost the playoff final against Aston Villa, and the crazy part is, if Derby County managed to get promoted, then none of this would be a problem, as EFL cannot put any charges on a team that is in the Premier League. They can't enforce any action on a Premier League club, but they lost, and this created the opportunity for all this to happen. And because Middlesbrough was 1 point below Derby, and because Derby at the time was breaching financial breaches and, as what they say, systematically cheating, they put in a claim at the end of that season to EFL about the fact that they believed they were cheating, and as they claim that they had a lot of damages due to Derby County cheating, and they were cheated of an opportunity to get into the Premier League via the playoffs. This is their claim. This is what this entire thing is about in terms of Middlesbrough. So that is Middlesbrough. Let's get to Wycombe. Last season, Wycombe Wanderers was relegated from the Championship, and they claim that Derby County should have received point deductions. Due to the rules of the EFL, a points deduction cannot be put in place, I believe, past March, if it would involve in a club being relegated. That is, as far as I'm aware, is the EFL law. So they cannot put a point deduction on Derby County. And the point deductions was put in place for the next season. As we already know, they've had 21 points deducted. Wycombe Wanderers put in a legal claim to the EFL towards Derby County, saying that they got relegated because of them. Derby County fans say that this should be a problem between the EFL and Wycombe Wanderers, and that Derby County shouldn't really be involved in it. Because at the end of the day, it was the EFL's decision to not do anything is the reason why Wycombe Wanderers went down. Right now, this puts an entire shadow over Derby County, and it scares off all bidders. 2-3 weeks ago, there was an official bid for Derby County by a US company called Binnie's, founders of an investment company, and they put in a formal bid of £28 million. The problem is they do not want to buy Derby County with these legal claims being brought onto them from the EFL due to Middlesbrough and Wycombe Wanderers. So they will not buy the club until these claims are done with. Because all in all, if I put a figure onto how much money it would cost to, let's say, if the claims are put in place, to do all of this and to put the club into absolute break even, you would need around about, and as a ballpark figure, around £130 million. The estimated debt is about 60 million. In terms of potential debt, is around 50 odd million. including also the stadium, which I think is around 20 million as well. Oh no, it's about 130 million pounds that it would cost to put Derby County on an absolute break even. Of course, the legal claims on top of it makes it impossible to buy it, because why would a company want to take on that for absolutely no reason? So the question is, for what will have to happen for the bidders to successfully buy the club? This may be a lot of jargon here, so please just cope with me here. If the bidder wants to buy Derby County, they first need to either let the admins sort out the claims, which is sensible, or take on the risk of the claims themselves, potentially having to shell out the legal fees and then the 45 million claims. And then the unsecured creditors must be paid 25 pence to the pound, or deductions again. Also must negotiate to buy the stadium from the old owner who puts us in administration, which is Mel Morris. He wants 20 million pounds for the stadium and isn't looking like to settle for less. The main stumbling block is the EFL not saying if these claims are football creditors or unsecured creditors, or even real claims. If they are classed as football creditors, the 45 million pounds reported must be paid in full like a transfer, otherwise the club faces more embargoes and deductions, etc. To find out if the claims are classed as football creditors, they must be either taken to court, which is expensive and also timely, or arbitration, which is run by the EFL panel. And there is claims by Derby County fans that the EFL panel has got representatives which could be biased to be against Derby County. This is of course a claim, but this is what I hear from Derby County fans. That is pretty much the simplest way I could go into this of why it's taking so long. So you've got Binnies that put in a 28 million bid, but they will not take on the actual claims and the debt of the Middlesbrough and Wycombe Wanderers. And what is happening is that EFL, instead of trying to help out Derby, they're pretty much taking a step back. The EFL is not getting involved in the situation. So in layman's terms, as long as Middlesbrough and Wycombe Wanderers do not back down, Derby County will be liquidated. It's either they back down or the EFL comes out and says to Middlesbrough or Wycombe Wanderers to back down. But because Derby's in administration, how can they pay Middlesbrough the 45 million or Wycombe Wanderers the, I think, is perceived 7 million pounds that they expect in compensation? The EFL has stated that they perceive these claims as footballing debts, while fans see these as frivolous claims. The fact that Middlesbrough can try to claim 45 million pounds off Derby County for damages, even though there's no guarantee that they would even do well in the first place or even be promoted. The next question is, what is happening to Derby County right now? Right now, the entirety of Derby County's academy is just being sold out for absolute pennies to teams all over the place just to purely survive. And right now, Derby County are just paying small loans week by week by week, essentially, just to purely survive. And the longer this lasts, the more further in debt they'll be put in. And because they cannot get a new owner because of the claims done by Middlesbrough and Wycombe Wanderers, and because EFL are standing back, they can't get a new owner in. There's players at Derby County like Ebi Osile, like Omari Killiman, promising players in Derby County's academy, which are just being sold for absolute pennies without Wayne Rooney even knowing about it. Sometimes the next day he finds out that his players are just missing because the admin team sells them on, getting a text by the admin team saying, yeah, sorry pal, but we've sold this player to Aston Villa, for example. Now, of course, you may remember that I said on the 1st of January that if Derby County didn't pay 5 million to the EFL to prove that they can survive for the rest of the season, that they will be liquidated. Now, the thing is that the deadline keeps being pushed back everywhere. As it stands right now, it's been pushed back to March the 1st. As it stands, if Derby County doesn't have the money for the deadline of March 1st, then they will be liquidated. As no bidder wants the responsibility of potentially having to shell out an extra 50 million quid from a club with 60 million pound in debt, including also the stadium, which is 20 million as well on top of that, with a squad with no academy players, a squad made up of youngsters or oldies, and with 3 players between the ages of 21 and 28. They are literally fighting for their existence right now. So the question is, for those that will say, well, you know what, Derby County cheated, Derby County, they did this, their fans loved that the fact they were cheating, etc, etc. This is my own opinion now on this. How far is enough? How has Derby County not already been punished? They're currently in a chokehold between the EFL, Borough and Wycombe as of right now. They can't get a new bidder because of what's going on, and each week that goes on, the debt just goes higher and higher and higher. They've had 21 points deducted. They've had transfer embargoes of 2 seasons. They've lost all the best players of Peanuts, and they have literally no academy left. They don't own their own stadium or training ground. They can't sign players for more than 4.5k a week. They can't offer academy players professional contracts. Realistically, at this stage, the only thing left for them is liquidation. I personally believe that they've been punished enough. Of course, Middlesbrough may claim that this is a footballing debt to them, that they've lost a lot of money and has damages because of their cheating. If you believe that Derby County should go down and no longer exist as a football club because of their cheating a couple of years back, then tell me your thoughts down below. Because at the end of the day, the only people really now that's being punished massively is the Derby County fans, the community, the workers there. So many jobs will be lost here. So many fans escape will be lost here. There's actually Derby County fans that's actually gone out to copyright the name Derby County Football Club just in case if they do get liquidated. And throughout all of this, Derby County is still somehow in a shout to stay up after having a minus 21 point deduction. They're currently still in the relegation zone. However, they're not far off actually being out of it. In the last game against Birmingham City, they sold out the entire stadium. They also had 10,000 fans at fan marches as well. I can't lie, but I can't help but have just some mad respect for the Derby County fans throughout all of this. I don't care what anyone says, honestly, about the fact that, they cheated and that. I get that. And they've been punished massively. If you believe that they owe compensation to the other teams, that's on for you to debate, but I do believe that it is quite a slippery slope, as there's been many times in football that teams have been promoted while breaking financial fair play rules. For example, QPR against Derby County back in 2014, and also the likes of Leicester as well. And as it currently stands, Middlesbrough and Wycombe Wanderers are not backing down on their claims towards the EFL, and the EFL, they're not going to get involved. So this is just in limbo forever until Derby County literally cannot do anything and they will be no longer existing. And that's where we stand right now. Tell me your thoughts down below in the comments. I'll see you guys next time for another video. And I really do hope that we don't, this is f***ing awful. This is f***ing awful, man. So, yeah. I'll see you guys next time.